So sentimental.
I can be sentimental sometimes, but something I am not sentimental about is Doctor Who, thank goodness. Outgoing Doctor Who executive producer admits Successor will ignore canon changes. Now, I am not a Whovian per se. I have watched I've watched, but I don't. I did not become a rabid fan. I love David Tennant as an actor. I like Matt Smith as an actor. Eccleston, I have not seen much of his work outside of Doctor Who. I know more about Peter Capaldi, but in general, my interest in this lies in the fact that the fans were so blatantly abused by the current showrunner, Chris Chibnall. Remember when we talked about, I don't know if you were here when I talked about how nice it was when Pablo Schreiber, who's in the new Halo series, came out and was like, look, if you don't like it, I understand if it's not like the game. And he basically says, I respect your opinion. I hope we can win you back. He like this really diplomatic
Catch
answer.
you next time.
Yeah, but it's like, and I'm like most people in these pop culture spheres who have had their franchises beleaguered, ruined, and then stomped on by people who have no respect for the source material. They're so used to being called the bad guys that somebody who just says, look, we disagree, but it's okay. That's like their view of like, oh my God, that was so nice of him to not tell me I'm an awful person for not liking what he made. And that's kind of what happened here is like when they hired Jodie Whittaker, you were a bad person if you didn't like her. I remember one of my last tweets that I ever wrote before I went off Twitter was I was open to the idea. It didn't bother me that they were hiring a woman. I liked Jodie Whittaker in a show called Broadchurch.
I love Broadchurch. That whole show, the first season in particular, is like a masterpiece.
I didn't see this.
Another show that didn't need to go
recommend.
past one season.
Season 2 was okay. Season 1 is like honestly one of the best pieces of television of all time ever.
That's Chris Chibnall is the one who produced that show, and he basically went with her to work on Doctor Who. And it became an after school special where Doctor Who is not fighting aliens. He's talking to Rosa Parks, and nobody wants edutainment anymore. Nobody wants to be preached and lectured
so
at.
Condescending and boring.
Doctor Who has been around for a long time. Are they just running out of ideas, or like
No,
why was this necessary?
It's easy to come up with ideas other than like just time traveling and
it's active. It became
time traveling is cool. Like use it to
I get that time traveling is the vehicle, but they made stories outside of that were entirely unrelated to like ordinary historical events.
Nobody wants.
They did a twist on it and a new villain and like otherworldly things.
So it says that Jodie Whittaker, the Jodie Whittaker era of Doctor Who, has made some bold changes of the canon, with the casting of a female doctor being the least of them. They made this. They kind of did this themselves by making it such a big deal. First female, like if they had just done it.
What do you think of that?
Nerds? Incels. You don't like it? You bad people. And it says
that's how you get people to like things. You just tell them they're bad for not liking.
It's literally used as a shield. So you do this. You hire the female doctor, despite the fact that all the other 50 years of Doctor Who have been male doctors. And then when people say like, I don't know, like could you just do a new character? Do we really need to do this? And they're like, well, apparently if you don't like it, it must be because you're a racist, sexist, misogynist, you're an istophobe, and you're a bad person for not liking this. It's just plot. You know how like characters have plot armor? It's basically good armor. It's like, you're like, they're virtuous, so therefore your criticisms of their product, it's bad for them because then they never have to feel any urge to get better because they can just write off all your criticisms as some type of social issue that you have with them. Mm-hmm. And so nothing improves, and the show never improved. The ratings are very, very low. People were interested at first when she got hired because they're like, oh, let's see how this goes. And I would say that more the first episode from what I watched the first episode out of interest, and to me it was just boring. Like I said, I'm not deeply connected to Doctor Who anyway, so it's not like I was like one of those people that's coming back week after week like, oh, maybe it'll be better this time.
I used to be a
view
big
to
fan.
Continue.
That was very good. That was good. That was good. It says critics are hoping that incoming showrunner Russell T Davies, who was a previous showrunner on Doctor Who, will wipe the slate clean once again and ignore what outgoing executive producer Chris Chibnall has established. Basically, I think they're talking mostly about the episode "The Timeless Child," where they retconned the Doctor's origin as like it's been like the first Doctor was like a black woman, and it was very pointedly on purpose, because they're like, take that, you incels. They just want,
and the ratings spiked, and then everyone started watching Doctor Who.
Exactly,
it was crazy. You couldn't get away from. No, wait, that didn't happen.
And there's 1,000 things wrong with that episode. I watched a couple of the reviews of it before going back into this, because I remember following this as just like, this became more interesting to me than watching the show, is watching how much everybody hated it. And then seeing the way, and then you'd go into comment section. So I can go into Abounding into Comics article, and it's all people who hate it. But then I can go into a sci-fi article or a CBR article, and half the people hate it and half the people are defending it. And that's it's the Michael Jackson popcorn meme where I'm just watching people fight. And that's my guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure is to watch these people fight over it. It's when I say that I don't care about, I'm less connected to Star Wars and Star Trek. It's why I love them fighting, because I don't feel that deep psychological connection to it the way they do. I feel bad for them, and I'm on their side. I think that these changes are stupid and do a disservice to the 50, I guess it's coming up on its 60th anniversary or something like that.
60th.
It does a disservice to all the work from all the previous showrunners that they put into it. But it looks like right here that it says that they're going to just throw out everything that Chibnall did, because they know that
it wasn't just the woke, heavy-handed stuff that he did wrong. He started messing up the storylines. They were
multiple.
Yeah, way too confusing for anybody to follow, and just not entertaining anymore, and not self-contained.
It was just literally bad television.
Yes.
Yeah, and you had to be following along so closely, and they weren't self-contained stories anymore.
Yep.
Is that a sign of someone who has been following the series for a long time and is a fan, so they're super obsessed with it and can get into the details? Or is that a sign of someone who was
I guess that was the
trying
goal?
to make their mark?
That was the goal, but it didn't work.
It says when asked if this means that he expects Davies to ignore his own timeless child story arc, Chibnall responded, let me start up here. It says it's one of the few drama series without a written Bible, and every era contains contradictions or left turn from what has come before. He said any future showrunner will ignore it or run with it. But that doesn't mean you just throw all of it out the window and do whatever you want. Create a new character for that. That's annoying to me.
Well, in some people's eyes, that was what they did. They threw out all of the old seasons when they started up in the 2000s.
Yeah. And so it says, when asked if he thinks that expects Davies to ignore his own timeless child story arc, Chibnall responded, I fully expect Russell to ignore it. Not that there's any hard feelings, though. Chibnall went on to pile on the praise for Davies. I believe they're friends. I could be misremembering that. They've worked together pretty heavily in the past. I know Chibnall, unless I'm misremembering, was in charge of Torchwood, which is I guess somebody who didn't care about Doctor Who but loved Torchwood. I believe that was his show, but I could be misremembering that. But I love that show. It's with John Barrowman as Captain Jack Harkness. So it says Chibnall has got his big break on Who back in 2007. He says, everyone should have a big smile on their face. He says of Davies' return, Russell is one of the elite showrunners and Who is very lucky to have him, especially off the back of It's a Sin and one of the greatest shows of all time. For him to have incredible ideas and passion for it, to want to make it, to want to take it forward again, that's fab. Oh man, he's fab.
I loved that. That's fab.
That sounds like that just sounds like a middle-aged dude who's like, that's what the kids are saying today, right? Nobody has greater love for Doctor Who. And the problem is most of the people feel like Chibnall didn't love Doctor Who, that he loved the idea of what he wanted it to be, not that he actually loved the canon or the characters. And like I said, what's odd is none of this speaks to me about Jodie Whittaker. I thought that she was not given anything to work with. I thought the scripts were awful, and the stories they were telling were,
I never saw her playing it. I just dropped off immediately when I saw,
and it turned people off.
Heavy-handed woke like that.
Yeah, so it's would it have been different if they had given her more generalized science fiction Doctor Who scripts that were just adventure and action and not so laden
get a little
with
creative.
Yep, that's a lot of this to me. I just see it as the death of creativity. It's the inability to write something interesting because when you're dropped in, say you're a writer and you're a new writer and you're dropped into this show with 50 years of lore and everything you feel like it's been done, that must feel a bit disconcerting or like you got to feel a bit anxious about having to live, to step into those shoes and try to fill them. So instead, they just go the other route and make it really, really preachy edutainment, which the network loves and the BBC loves because they're all about those types of DEI type, they're into that form of like at the BBC, like all the equity initiatives and all this stuff. So they don't really care about the show's entertainment value anymore. They care about the message. So that allows them to slack off when they're writing this stuff. And it's like I found this old article. It says Doctor Who star Jodie Whittaker once feared emphasis on her gender ruined chances of another woman playing the role. I don't know if that's true. I do believe that that they're going to continue in this direction. Some people were saying they want to bring David Tennant back as the Doctor.
He was really good.
Yes. Another person another one that was up there was possibly Hugh Grant, which would be funny.
I was thinking that would be a good idea. I don't really care who it is. I just hope that it's a man again, and I hope that he's British.
And if you
that's all I want.
That's all you need.
They need to actually be British.
By the way, he's not human anyways, so technically the gender is or he's an alien. He's an alien.
Yeah, that's a great excuse.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying just make it like look the same as like the previous Doctors because he's a certain type of alien. You don't even need to get into
to look
like a human man. Like a human man. So it says just for reference, the Doctor Who seasons ranked by IMDb and the Jodie Whittaker seasons of all 12 are 12 and 11. Bottom of the barrel. Yeah. And you'd think that those would go up. Like obviously, a lot of people fell off in the Capaldi era, but as you imagine, David Tennant rules the list at the top of number one. So I'd say just bring if we have to reboot everything and make it bad, let's reboot stuff and make it good, and just bring David Tennant back.
I don't know. That just seems sad. It's not trying anymore.
Oh yeah. Okay. But then there was this article. This is the article that made me I was hesitant to cover this today, but then I saw this and this just made my day. Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker should be replaced by Whoopi Goldberg, says co-star. That's somebody who just wants to break it. They're just like, no, if I'm going out, we're going to go out by ruining it in the future. There is not a human alive that wants Whoopi Goldberg.
I mean, I get that she has the sci-fi
thing, the Star Trek,
but she's not British and she's not a man. I don't care.
Can she do a British accent? Can she do it? Maybe
probably not very well.
They want her so bad that they hire a British woman to dub the lines for her and just make it two people.
This would just make me.
I feel like British people should be more mad that they would consider
this
not
is their
having
thing.
A British okay, maybe you land on the fence of since it's an alien anyway, should it be a man, should it be a woman?
Would they cast a British actor as Captain America?
Have a little bit of national pride and be like, no, it has to be a British person.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill is Superman and he's British.
But look, America was colonized by England to begin with, so that
one
we can forgive.
He doesn't play
work the other way.
He doesn't play a British Superman though. He plays truth, justice, in the American way. I say just hire Henry Cavill and have muscly Doctor Who. Just go that way. I suggest.
Who's that other guy that I like that one time? Who's in Peaky Blinders, I think.
Cillian Murphy.
Make it him. Why not? I just want to see him more stuff.
Because he'll be a bad guy.
How do you know?
He's not.
Maybe we need a slightly sinister Doctor Who.
Do you know who Cillian Murphy is?
From Peaky Blinders.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got dead eyes. He can't play good guys. He has to play bad guys.
But wouldn't that be an interesting spin? Instead of it, should it be a man, should it be a woman? Do we have a slightly evil Doctor Who? Do we have a anti-hero Doctor Who? I've never seen this series, so I have no idea what I'm pitching right now.
Sometimes the Doctor can be a jerk.
But I stand by it.
He could be a jerk Doctor.
Yeah.
Some of the suggestions are Lydia West, who I don't know, Omari Douglas, who I don't know, Michael Sheen, who I do know, Danny Dyer, meh.
I think I've already really nailed it. Why aren't we doing my suggestion?
Rice Ifans I could go with. Rice Ifans is great.
Brett's ignoring
I'm
me.
ignoring you. Lenny James. Are there any Fear the Walking Dead fans here or Walking Dead? Lenny James?
I did watch that.
Yes.
It's not very good.
Lucy Lawless threw her hat in the mix. If anybody's seen Xena, Warrior Princess.
Where is Cillian Murphy on this list?
It's
not even a legitimate list until this guy's on it.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge is on this list, which is a horrible idea. So yes, we will see where it goes, but it is funny that they're going to, knowing how bad that people hated the stuff that Chibnall did, that they're like, oh yeah, I fully expect him to ignore the canon. Yeah, because the canon you made was awful. That goes without saying.
Look, the only way to redeem the series is to have Cillian Murphy, whose name I forgot temporarily.
Yes, Deadeyes. Just call him Deadeyes.
He is the best, and I have also never seen Peaky Blinders. I saw one photo of this guy and was like, done.
I haven't seen it either, but now that you bring it up, I think it is a good idea.
Yeah, thank you. Mary's on my side.
Brett, stop hating on Deadeyes. We Deadeyes don't take kindly to that.
Okay, fine. Well, no, you're still
wrong.
You've been
accused of having
she wanted him to play James Bond. He can't have Deadeyes
James
anything. Bond. He cannot.
Your mind is closed, and I resent that about you.
Fine, yeah. I am bigoted against dead-eyed people.
It is one of my favorite secret segments on the show where we play who should play this person, especially for the people who are only listening to it and not watching the video portion of this. It must be really helpful to have me be like, look at this guy. He looks sort of good. He should play that character.
I have this bad habit of like, I list off these people and because I can picture them, I assume that other people, I forget that like you should have the visual cue.
But I actually really like this game. I think we should play it. So Cillian Murphy gets another role from me. Mary's in, so that's done.
Yeah.
No.
I'll say aye.
Aye. Call the Doctor Who's.
Majority
We've
rule.
got one.
I'm being teamed up on here and it's not fair.
An emo, slightly stoic looking Doctor Who.
Like emo Doctor.
See? What is this, 2007?
It's always 2007 if you believe hard enough.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.